Bun. În acest caz, o să rog pe colegul meu, Petre, să vorbească două, trei cuvinte despre relația pe care avem cu Infosim. Petre, te rog frumos.
Bună ziua tuturor! Așa cum spunea și Diana, sunt Petre Popescu, Pre-Sales Manager Datanet Systems și da, îmi face o deosebită plăcere să îi introduc pe colegii noștri de la Infosim, Mirko și Vlad, alături de care lucrăm de peste 8 ani de zile, poate chiar 10 ani de zile, în diverse proiecte de succes, implementând soluția despre care vom vorbi astăzi. O parte din dumneavoastră, cred, aveți deja această soluție implementată sau am avut deja discuții pe această temă. Ca să trecem direct la treabă, I'll switch, o să trec la limba engleză ca să pot să fac trecerea către Mirko. So, gives me great pleasure to introduce Mirko Vyskocil, our long-term partner from Infosim, who will start today's presentation for this great solution, StableNet. Mirko, please take over.
Mirko, you're on mute. If you can switch it to...
Afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Petra, for the introduction. Thank you, Diana. My name is Mirko Vyskocil. I am regional sales of Infosim company, responsible for Central and Eastern Europe. And in our headquarters in Würzburg, we also have my colleague Vlad Singeorzan, who is going to present our demo. For today's session, we plan approximately 1 hour. I'm going to start with a short introduction of Infosim company and our StableNet solution. I'm going to inform you and to present few use cases and also reference examples from our customers. And after that, approximately after 10-15 minutes introduction, Vlad is going to take over and present you the live demo from our lab. At the end, I hope there will be also enough space for questions and answers. If you have some questions in the meantime, I think you can write your questions. You can write your questions in the chat window. So let me continue with the introduction. I hope you already see the next slide, slide number 4, with the picture of our with the photo of our headquarters in Würzburg. Infosim is a software vendor with headquarters in Germany, but with international presence. We are based in Würzburg. Initially established as a spin-off of University Würzburg, university which we still have a close cooperation with. In Würzburg, there is our headquarters. There is also the development center, training center, and other administration teams. In addition to Würzburg, we have another location in Münster, and we have offices in US and in Singapore. Approximately over 100 employees worldwide, strongly working with partners. We have close cooperation with many technology partners. We also work together with few OEM partners who use our solution as OEM, and we have strong cooperation with global and regional resellers and system integrators like Datanet. Integrators work with us together. They help to sell and to position the StableNet solution, help with the implementation, and also provide usually the first and second level support. The solution is called StableNet, as usually was already mentioned, which was initially developed as a network management, IT management, and OSS solution for telecommunication operators, enterprise, and governmental organizations. The initial focus was strongly on network and IT management. However, with the time being, the solution has been and is continuously developed, and so we are able to follow current trends and needs of our customers. So we are able to support them with or in the daily business and their daily operation. So in addition to the original, let's say, support of networking and IT technologies, we support so the new technologies, including virtual networks, virtual infrastructures. We address security issues. We address IoT, clouds, and other different areas. StableNet as a solution is a unified but modular system for management and automation, monitoring and for the monitoring and management solution. It consists, or it is addressing, it's composed of four, let's say, important pillars, and most important is the discovery and inventory part. Solution is able to discover different elements, services, and environment. There is also the inventory part, which is actually the operational inventory. Which is the part of the solution. Then we have the network configuration and change management. We are able to configure the devices. We are able to add automation functionalities, including configuration jobs, policy checking, and vulnerability checking. The third part is our fault management, and fault management with automated root cause analysis, and of course the performance management part, which provides quite broad range of functionalities targeting IP but also non-IP technologies, able to connect devices and elements directly, or able to import performance data from different element and network management systems. So it's a unified solution, but modular, if you want, for in one. But depending on the customer needs and expectations, it can be used as a fault, it can be used as a discovery configuration management, it can be used as a performance management, etc., etc. The solution can be deployed in a closed environment, like management monitoring solution for a certain domain, for certain area, or it can be also deployed in a widely distributed and scalable environment. with this approach, we are targeting large corporations as well. Large seller service providers are using the solution as a monitoring system, centralized monitoring system for their internal infrastructure and services, including the SLA monitoring tool for their business customers. The solution can be deployed as an umbrella monitoring and management system, or it can be very successfully integrated within the existing environment. Solution provides open interfaces, flexible interfaces where our customers, partners, without or with our support, are able to integrate different systems and to integrate within the existing environment. So within the SoftBank interfaces, there are, of course, the standard interfaces like SNMP, CLI available. Historically, have been also supported Corba TL1. There is support for NetFlow, there is support for IP telephony, but also new standards for data collection like telemetry and others. End-to-end tests are supported, integration with probes, etc. On the northbound, it's very common to integrate with existing ticketing systems, with existing CMDBs, inventory systems, either commercial or proprietary systems, with ERP systems and other BSS systems. More and more common is integration also with portals, integration with different CM systems, security information management systems, integration via different interfaces like REST, Kafka, and others. So these were the integration capabilities of the solution, and I hope you already can see the next slide number 9, where I want to add that the solution is available in different versions. Enterprise for smaller and medium-sized customers, telco version for large enterprise and telecom organizations, and other models like software as a service operated by partners or by customers or by Infosim, with different possibilities on-premise, in cloud, or in certain combinations. Short summary before we go to the use cases. I hope you already can see slide number 10. Just want to stress out that with the system and with the all-in-one approach, we strongly address consolidation of monitoring and management system. But with the all-in-one approach, we also address automation. So with the discovery, monitoring, measurement, reporting approach, it is possible to automate the whole process and to save significant and to achieve significant savings on the both CapEx and OpEx side. In addition, we address very high scalability, and with the flexible interfaces, we achieve very high grade of customization. At this moment, I would like to add a few more use cases which can be addressed. Please consider this list as examples of let's say areas we usually address, but there are many other use cases. More information you can find also on our website, or you can ask our partner Datanet. Consolidation, automation, we already mentioned. There is a strong focus on visualization. So if we discover the elements, if we discover the dependencies, we discover the networks, we can, of course, visualize them. these visualized networks can be part of the report, can be part of the dashboards, can be also integrated with geomaps and with other topology maps. Zero-touch deployment is a very nice extension of our configuration management system. One of the advantages of StableNet is that it's possible, and our customers usually adapt the system according to their workflow and processes. So full flexibility for zero-touch deployment and provisioning. Root cause analysis was partially mentioned. It is another use case. System can be used as a fault management. We provide automated root cause analysis, which is topology based. In addition to this topology based root cause analysis, there is of course a possibility to define your own rules. And in addition, since last 2-3 years, we have been also implementing the newest AI ML related algorithms, features, and functionalities as a part of the root cause analysis. Process monitoring of IT business processes, applications can be another use case, especially at enterprise organizations and in the IT management area. Last example I want to show as a nice extension are our Wi-Fi probes and our Wi-Fi portal. I think Vlad is going to address it during the demo as well. It's a very nice extension to the standard IP MPLS monitoring. It's a very nice extension to standard monitoring of access points. It's a nice extension from the user experience point of view. Highly flexible solution, configurable, programmable, which can be used for Wi-Fi monitoring. Good. This was the last slide of the general use cases, and on my last 3 slides, I would like to share with you a few examples from customers, only briefly. A few examples of our projects from the last time. The first one is a project for 1&1 Versatel, which is a part of United Internet AG in Germany, 4th largest telecommunication provider in Germany with approximately 60,000 elements. They are operating backbone and access infrastructure and addressing also business customers. So StableNet is used as a centralized management and monitoring tool, monitoring both internal network infrastructure, but also business customers, integrated with existing inventory systems and other systems. Currently, it is the implementation is still ongoing, and currently our colleagues are implementing capacity planning management as a StableNet extension. It's one of the new StableNet modules. So it was 1&1 Versatel. The next example I would like to share with you is the B. Braun, for somebody probably known as a vendor of pharma and medical equipment and elements. It's a typical enterprise customer using StableNet as a network and IT monitoring tool. This was B. Braun, and the last one I would like to share with you is our ongoing project for the MTN group. MTN is one of the largest telecommunication groups worldwide. Belongs to the top 10 telecom groups worldwide with more than 200,000, 200 million subscribers in different countries of Africa and Middle East. We started a project in Nigeria for MTN Nigeria. One of the challenges was to provide management on the national level to be able to consolidate different management systems, and to provide also a management tool on the group level in order to provide different dashboards over the national operations on the group level. So this was achieved. Started in Nigeria, implemented in the meantime in several countries, and currently there is a running implementation in South Africa. Implementation started at the end of 2020. Due to the pandemic, implementation, consulting, project management had to be delivered remotely from Germany. And we as Infosim and our colleagues who have been involved in the project we are proud to say that the solution the StableNet solution is a COVID-proven solution. Good, this was last example I wanted to share with you. And now I would be happy to pass to Vlad, and we will have a live demo presentation. So Vlad, I hope you can share your screen.
Yes, thank you, Mirko. Bună ziua și din partea mea de la Würzburg. Mă bucur că sunteți prezenți în număr așa mare la webinarul nostru de astăzi și în următoarele circa 30 de minute să vă prezint practic soluția noastră StableNet. I will
Vlad, we cannot hear you anymore.
Now it should work
Yes.
again. It seems then that with sharing I got muted again. I don't know where it was cut off, so I'll repeat the last few things. In the next 30 minutes approximately, I will show you a live demo of our solution StableNet. Before we start, a few words to our architecture and what we have here in the lab. The whole demo will be based on the lab we have here in Würzburg. It's a mostly virtualized lab where, of course, we have some network devices and we have StableNet running. We have in StableNet a classical client-server architecture with a server as a centralized component and a database that is used in the background. Of course, we support Oracle or MariaDB databases, and the user connects via a GUI. We have a rich client, which is Java-based, and I will be doing the presentation today in the web portal. In addition, there is an iOS app which helps you with a short overview and everything, but it's not so feature-rich as the other two GUIs, of course.
Vlad, I have one question. If you can make the font a little bit bigger, because now I cannot read it properly.
Okay, I'm sorry about this.
Please.
I will adjust.
You can.
Just a
Thank you.
second. Okay, so I changed it to 150% scaling. So
It shows the same for me, at
yes,
least.
because I paused while I was changing the settings, so you don't have to watch me going through Windows settings. So now it's scaled to 150%, and it should be better to.
Now it's changed.
Okay.
Okay, now it's working.
I hope everybody can read it, and if there are any strange scaling effects, please excuse them. So we're talking about the architecture, and now we can move on to the lab. We have a mostly virtualized lab of multi-vendor devices. We are multi-vendor capable. Most of the devices are Cisco and Juniper. We discovered all these devices. The discovery in StableNet is template-based and can be fully automated. And as a result of the discovery, we have filled up our inventory, which is what you can see here on the screen. When the devices are discovered, a lot of information is read from the devices, and we have a standard monitoring that is set up for these devices. And I want to give you a short overview of this when we start. So we have here, for example, virtualized ASR 9K Cisco router. That is part of our lab here. You can see the model and the vendor here in the device dashboard in the overview, and also an overview of the monitored parameters. I will go into more detail about this later on. You can see we have the interfaces monitored. We have some network protocols that are monitored, CPU, memory, and so on. We are also able to read out all of the device properties. So we know which vendor it is, as I said, which model, which OS is running, and so on. This includes a full list of the modules, which is interesting if you want also to maybe synchronize with your inventory system or be able to check serial numbers and so on. The serial numbers are also part of the inventory. It's a little bit more difficult with serial numbers, obviously, for virtualized devices, but I think you get the point. We have also a full list of the interfaces with all the relevant details for each of the devices, IP addresses, physical addresses, and so on, and also the admin status and operational status for the interfaces which are monitored. And in addition to this, we also, or based on the whole information that we read, we are also able to build up a neighborhood graph where you can see how the devices are connected to each other, including the links, and you can also see things like traffic information. If you hover over one of the links, you can see the traffic for the last period of time. We've seen this type of information now for this Cisco device. We can also briefly show you, if you want, for some Juniper devices. It's very similar. So if we take this one, this is a virtualized Juniper device. If I go to the overview, you'll see the device details. For this one, it's running, for example, Junos 18.1. We can see here a similar selection of monitoring parameters as we have seen for the other device. And of course, we have the same information regarding the interfaces, regarding the modules, the full module list again, where you can drill down if you want to the different slots and so on. It's not so nice for the virtualized Juniper devices as for the Cisco ones. And we've seen already in the beginning the neighborhood graph, and we can also, if you want, we can increase the neighborhood level. So we now see neighborhood level 2. We see a lot more elements right here. We have also the possibility to change the layout if you want, and we are also able to group links if you want, stuff like this. As I said in the beginning, we not only read the information from the devices and populate the inventory, but we also set up a monitoring, and based on the monitoring, monitoring is performance and fault management. We will look into this one also a little bit later on in more detail, but we are able here in the in the inventory to see a device status, which you already seen, which is in our case green. And we have here this health view where we can see all of the monitors for the device with their last value and the state. As I said, everything is green for this device. We have a lot of parameters which are monitored here. And also, in case there are any alarms, we would see them here in the open alarms view to see which alarms are open for this particular device. But now we have 0 open alarms for this device. As part of the discovery, we also implement tags which we use for grouping and filtering. This can be something function orientated, or it can be something location orientated, or something like this. We use them, for example, to group the elements in our tree, which would be the other way to display information that is used quite often in StableNet, in addition to the tables. So we have here our inventory tree, and we can take a look, for example, at the VLab here in the tree, and we can see the devices grouped here in the tree. And as with the other one, I can just select one device and I'll get the exact same information right here. As I said, we also not only have the inventory, but we also have the performance and the fault management, and I want to show you a little bit of this as well. So if we move to the analyzer view here in the status theme, we can see again, we're working with trees. We can see different groups and elements in the groups, and if we go again and look at the VLab, we can take a look at our devices that we saw before, and we can see in a little bit more detail here what measurements we have. As I said before, we have interface measurements, we have the interfaces that are monitored, we have information about the device health, like processes, sensors, memory, and so on. Then we have different network protocols, layer 2, layer 3 protocols. We have some information about routing, in this case BGP and OSPF, but it could be also, and also LDP sessions, MPLS monitoring as well, MPLS VRFs, and so on and so forth. And in the fault management part, we also support, of course, the classic trap and syslog monitoring, where you could generate alarms based on this type of messages. Generating alarms is also possible for every other type of measurement that we have that I mentioned before. So you can define thresholds, and based on these thresholds, alarms can be raised. I will not go into too much detail about the alarming, but it's stateful based, and it is coupled with our root cause analysis, as Mirko stated before. So every time you have an outage, you have some alarms. The alarms are correlated automatically. The dependencies are discovered automatically during our discovery process. And based on this, the alarms can be correlated. And then you will have one root cause, and all other alarms which are related to this will be symptoms of this alarm. We can also take a look at the Juniper device that we had before. I think we had this one, doesn't really matter. We have a similar type of monitoring. We have the interfaces, we have processors, we have device-specific routing information, memory, and so on. Yeah, as I said, quite similar to the other ones. Maybe one difference that you can see here. Here we also have ISIS sessions, not only BGP and OSPF like in the other case. Based on the whole information that we are gathering with the measurements, of course, we are also able to visualize the data and have some reports based on this. So we could, for example, take a look at graph here. This is the interface graph with the traffic for one of the interfaces that I selected. You can also combine multiple measurements into one graph and change the time settings if you want. So we're looking now at 1 day, but we could also be looking at a longer period of time if we want. So just change the time settings, and then we will see a longer period of time, and we can also see a clear pattern here regarding the traffic. All of this information is available also in what we call the device analyzer. I will show you this one in a second. But before we do that, I also want to point out that we not only have the analyzer, but we also have the group analyzer, which allows you to do also group statistics. For example, we can take a look at interfaces, and we can see the interfaces with the highest bandwidth usage, 95th percentile in this case, and we can load this type of data as well. Takes a little bit because we have a lot of interfaces and it's for one day. We see the top 10 now. We can also take a look at other settings if you want. It's all configurable, obviously, and this table view is the standard, but you can also visualize the data as bars or charts or something like this. So for example, we can take the 95th percentile here to visualize the data. The interfaces have quite similar traffic, so it's not a lot of difference or variation that you can see here. You have different types of charts which are available. You can look at donut charts, bar charts, and some other types of charts as well. If you are looking into one specific device, as I said before, we also have the device analyzer, which you can use for better, for nicer way to display the information, and also for correlation. So, for example, I'm just looking for a device. I think we had this one before. What we can do is we can just take the measurements here from the tree in the left side, drag them to here, and then here you can see the different parameters which are available. What we can also do is we can look at single parameters if you want, and we can look at the same data in different, put it in the same chart. I think in this case we have kilobits on the left side, so I could take from another interface, for example, I could take the in octets and out octets and also plot them here in the same chart for better correlation. Whenever you hover over the charts, you can see that the data points are marked, and it helps you to correlate the different graphs. So you could correlate the traffic with some routing chart, for example, or memory and CPU usage, and something like this or something similar, of course, is possible. Mirko also mentioned, I also want to briefly show talk about a little bit about our configuration management capabilities. Or before we do that, maybe one remark. We will not look into this because of the time, but all of this information is also available in the reporting. You can create report jobs, run the reports, and have them sent per mail or generated as HTML or PDF reports to have all the data that you need in one place. As I said, we also have a configuration management module, which is quite powerful. We have the possibility to get device backups. We also have what we call device info commands, and we have the possibility to deploy configs, do policy checks, and also an end-of-life and vulnerability module. In this presentation, I will focus a little bit on the backups. So if you take a look at the devices that we seen before, for example, this one, you can see we have the backups here in the table. I can select one and we can take a look at it. It's a standard iOS XR backup. As you can see, if I select multiple backups, then automatically we have a div, which is also displayed with different colors. So we can see, for example, here on the right side, a new IP SLA responder was configured on the device. This is also available, of course, not only for the Cisco, but also for the Juniper devices. So if we take our device from before, here you can see we have also what we call info commands or show commands, which can be saved in addition to the regular device backup, which is the configuration, for example, here the show version. But let me show you here also the backups, and we can directly start with 2 to 1, so we can see you can see here some some syslog host was removed, so you can see this clearly marked. Configuration entries that have been removed are marked in red, as you can see here, and we've seen another example that configuration entries are marked green when they are added, and we have another example here in blue. We have configuration changes where there was a slight change only. Good. With this, I would like to finish the overview of the StableNet product. There are a lot of other features that we could go through, but I want to move on and show you a few use cases so that we have at the end also some time to answer questions. So I prepared 4 use cases that I want to show you. Let's see if we manage to go through all of them. I think we will manage at least 3. Most of them I will show you in our weather map view. As you can see here, since I changed the scaling, we need to zoom out a little bit here. So this is one of the first use cases, or the first use case that I want to show you, Cisco ACI monitoring. We get all the data from the Cisco controller. We are able to monitor it, and based on the data that we gather, which I will show you in a few moments, we are able to build this overview weather map here, where you can see the status of the APIC controller, and you can also see some usage statistics of this ACI installation, which is in our lab, so it's quite small. And we can see here also the representation of the links and how the things are looking like in the lab with the controller, the spine, and the leaf nodes. As I said, this is based on the monitoring that we have, of course, for the Cisco ACI, and we can take a look at the monitoring that is available here. With the tagging, I can just select one of the trees. So I can select, for example, here the ACI tree, and we can see we have the monitoring here for the controller. We have some parameters about the cluster status and the overall health. We have the interfaces which are monitored, and some modules like fan trace and so on. And then we have information, as I said before, about the spine node, which in our case is the switch Hamburg. You can see here we have, again, different types of information regarding the modules, health information, fans, and so on, and similar information for the 2 leaf nodes that we have here. So this is a separate module in StableNet where we use our REST API to integrate this data, and of course, based on this data, then we are able to create a monitoring alarm if required, and also based on this, we are able to create this overview dashboard or weather map that you have seen from the beginning or at the beginning. Let's move on to the next use case, which in this case will be some cloud use case, but better say Office 365. I can jump here from the overview. It's a little bit difficult with the scaling. So if I move the cloud, and we can see here the Office 365 monitoring. We see here the overview. I have to slightly zoom out. The text is probably too small, but I will give you an overview of what's happening and what is monitored. Again, we've integrated this Office 365 system for monitoring using their API. We are monitoring the system not only for health, but also from a user experience perspective. We have different areas that we monitor. So we monitor the calendar, the address book or the contacts, mail, and also the OneDrive for file sharing. And for these different areas, we have different KPIs that we monitor. The most important ones we also display here graphically with the gauges. You can see that we have some alarms and the calendar is not working. There is some issue with the calendar that in some cases the API is not responding very well. But nevertheless, we have the other monitoring KPIs that we can see here. So for example, for the contacts or address book, you can see how long it takes to create a contact and how long it takes to delete a contact. And you can see here the current values or the average value, and also the values for the last 60 minutes, the last 24 hours, and also the last week. So you can have a glance at the performance. The same is for sending and receiving a mail as a test. And the same you can see for uploading or downloading a file in OneDrive. And the same information that is used here for the overview, we have also plotted in a chart here at the bottom, so you can see also how the values are changing over time. You can see, for example, then that in the morning there was a peak here around 7:30. This is an example for integration of a cloud system. This is also possible, and we have implementations also for other systems like, for example, Azure or also the Amazon Web Services. The next example or use case that I want to show you is from the SD1 area. So let's go back to our overview, and we can take a look here at our Nokia Nuage integration as an example. As you can see, there are a lot of other different use cases that are available as well. We have this example integration for the Nokia Nuage system, where we have integrated the different components of the system, of course, and we are monitoring the interesting parameters. We have the service directory here. We have two controllers and a few nodes. This thing, most of them are security gateways that we monitor, and we are able, again, using a proprietary API, to import this data into StableNet, generate alarms based on thresholds, and also build this overview here. And I can also show you, if we move back to the analyzer, I can also show you the monitoring. In this case, I just have to find the use case. Yeah, this one. So we have the monitoring for the different components, and we have here the Nuage specific information. We have processors that we monitor the status of the element, and then also a lot of storages. The same for these are the controllers. This will be the service directory, and also we have then the different nodes. In this case, security gateways, as I said. So we can take a look at, for example, this one, which is called Hamburg. It's the similar information, again, processes status and a lot of storage information that is available on these nodes. Good, so much for the SD1 Nuage integration for Nokia. This is again also an example. We have, as Mirko mentioned, very flexible interfaces and are able to integrate different systems using this. And for the last use case, I also want to show the Wi-Fi portal. What Mirko mentioned also in his presentation, you have seen the picture of the Wi-Fi probes that we have. So the idea is to monitor Wi-Fi with probes that can be connected via LAN connection, but also are available with LTE 4G connectivity that can be easily deployed. They are very easy to install. They build up a secure connection to the StableNet server. They can be set up here in the GUI, and then they will start measuring as they are configured. And I will focus in this presentation not on the whole workflow and how you are managing the devices and so on, but a little bit on the practical side. What type of information do we monitor, and how is it available, and how is it shown into StableNet? So here we can see we have one of the sensors which is located here in our building in Würzburg. You can see the relevant information here. You can see which Wi-Fi's are measured by this sensor. In this case, it's our own IoT Wi-Fi here at our headquarters. And yeah, you can see also on the map, as I said, where this sensor is located. You can see the settings of the sensor and also modify them here. This is the same that you would use for initial setup. It's a little bit technical, but I think it's interesting to see that it's possible to be done here in the portal. We also have a user management for the sensors, and then you can see here an overview of the measurements, which I think is the most interesting part. Seems to not load completely. Let me check again. Maybe we can check another sensor. Normally, yes, normally you have multiple measurements. This one is probably a better example because it's also measuring two, but not only one, but two Wi-Fi's. So we have again the Infosim IoT Wi-Fi, and also a Meraki access point that we have in our VLab for testing. And you can see here at a glance the status of these Wi-Fi networks, the overall performance, DNS and HTTPS. We monitor two categories of parameters. One, the performance of the Wi-Fi itself, and then also some user experience parameters, as you can see here. And if I click on Open Details, we will see a little bit more information on the status. What is the time for building up the connection to the Wi-Fi? What is the authentication time? What is how the signal strength is looking like? What data rates for transmit and receive are possible? And we also take a look into the DHCP status and events. And then on the user experience side, we are doing a DNS lookup. In this case, Bahn.de. This is the train company, the national train company of Germany. And we are also doing an HTTP or HTTPS download of an external website, in this case heise.de, which is a well-known portal for IT news in Germany. And you can see here all the information, how long it takes for the DNS lookup, what is the performance of the website download, in this case, the bit rate, the time to first byte, which is very important to assess the performance, and so on. Of course, also the status, if it's possible or not possible to download the website. And the same type of information, of course, is available if you look into the other Wi-Fi, not only this Infosim IoT, but also the other one. It's all been deployed at one customer where they have a lot of points of presence, and they have also customers in those points of presence, and they want to ensure that the Wi-Fi signal is good and the customers are able to use the Wi-Fi. Of course, there are also other use cases where you could use it, for example, in a production plant to make sure that all the sensors, all your IoT or Industry 4.0 sensors are well connected, and so on and so forth. So this would conclude the short use case presentation from my side. I think I took a few minutes longer, but we still have enough time to address some questions If you have them, thank you from my side for your attention for now. And as I said, if you have questions, please feel free to ask. I think we could even try and answer questions in Romanian if it's required.
Thank you, Vlad. For now, we don't have any questions, but if there are and you would like to share with us, please write them down. We can wait a minute or two. So it seems that we don't have questions. In this case, I will switch back to Romanian. Vă mulțumesc o dată pentru participarea la webinar și pentru atenția acordată. Sper că informațiile prezentate astăzi au fost de interes pentru dumneavoastră. Dacă mai sunt anumite întrebări sau doriți mai multe detalii despre soluțiile Infosim, puteți să ne contactați pe adresa de mail sales@datanet.ro, adresa care trebuie să fie afișată acum pe ecran. Așa că din partea echipei Datanet și Infosim vă dorim o zi plăcută. Vlad, Mirko, thank you very much for your support today. Have a nice day to all. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much too. Have a good day. Thank you for participation. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.